Welcome to KVS RO Jabalpur, Class 12 Commerce, Business Studies. Today we are going to start with Unit 4, Planning. In brief, let us discuss about the concept map. We have already completed Unit 1, 2 and 3, that is Nature and Significance of Management, Principles of Management and Business Environment. And today we are going to start with Planning. This is unit number 4. Dear students, I would like to draw your attention that we are preparing these lessons in a very synchronized manner, in a very systematic manner. If you watch all the lessons in sequence, it will be a complete study package for you for class 12th business studies. So what I recommend is watch these lessons regularly, make your own notes and attempt the exercises. Also attempt the case studies. Let us begin with Unit 4, that is Planning. Learning objectives. What we are going to discuss in today's lesson. Concept of planning. Importance of planning. Limitations of planning. Planning process. And types of plans, that is single use and multi-use or standing plans. So let us begin with the lesson. First of all, what planning is. Dear students, whenever we do anything in our life, first of all, we make a plan for that, we decide a blueprint of that, we decide how the things will be done. This thing also applies in business management. So planning, it emphasizes well begun is half done. If the things have been planned in a correct manner, see, half of the battle is already won. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. If you have not done correct planning, it means you have purposefully decided to fail. So planning is deciding in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, and who will do. From today, we are starting with the complete management process, which is having 5 steps: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. We will be learning entire process of management in form of chapters. So each step of this management process will be discussed as a separate chapter. So today we are starting with the very first step of the management process, that is planning. So planning is deciding in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, and who will do it. Planning provides a base for all managerial activities. Whatever we are going to do, we are going to perform in future, it entirely depends on what we have planned. I keep 6 honest servicemen. They taught me all I know. Their names are what, where, when, and how, and why, and who. It shows that planning is totally concerned with the following: what is to be done, where it is to be done, when it will be done, how means method it will be done, why, what is the objectives to perform any activity, and who will do it. Actually, planning provides a blueprint of our future activities, and also it tells in what manner things will be done. Planning is therefore keeping the objectives in view and also being in action. Keeping the targets in mind and also strive to achieve them. Features of planning. Planning focuses on achieving objectives. Whenever we plan something, we are always having some objectives to be achieved in our mind. Those objectives has already been discussed in chapter number 1, that those objectives will be of 3 types. It may be organizational objectives, it will be social objectives, and finally at last it will be personal objectives also. So planning focuses on achieving objectives. It always starts with deciding the targets, deciding the goals. Planning is the primary function. See, why in management planning is considered as is the primary function? Because of two reasons. Number one, it is the first step in entire management process. It is performed first of all, and rest of the functions are dependent on planning. So remember these 2 points. Why planning is called primary function? It is performed first of all, and all other functions are dependent on planning. All other functions are planned or done according to the plans. Planning is pervasive. It prevails in all types of organizations and at all levels. Let it be lower level, let it be medium level, or let it be top level of management. However, the degree of planning is more at top level, because planning is considered as the primary function of the top level managers. However, it is pervasive, but the degree of planning is more at top level, and accordingly it gradually it reduces at lower levels, because at lower levels execution is more important, planning is less important. At top level planning is more important and rest functions are less important. Planning is continuous. You are planning your studies. First of all, you plan in a broad manner what I want to be in life. Then you plan which stream to be chosen. You have chosen commerce stream. In class 11th, you planned in a different manner. After completing class 11th, you have planned for class 12th in entirely different manner. You are planning your daily lessons, and right now also you are doing planning that what I will do after this lesson. So planning is continuous. It happens every time. Non-stop it is done. Planning is always futuristic. In present, execution is done. Planning is all about future. Means in present we decide what will be the course of action in future. So planning's basic nature is it is futuristic. Planning involves decision making. Don't forget this thing, that planning means choosing the best alternative among various available alternatives. Planning helps in decision making. Planning itself means choosing the best course of action among various course of actions available after doing a careful analysis, do's and don'ts analysis, pros and cons analysis of each alternative. I want to do something. I have different manners, different methods of doing that thing. I will do a study of pros and cons of each course of action, and after judging that which course of action is having most positive points, I will go with that only. So planning helps in decision making. Planning involves decision making. Planning is a mental exercise. It is all about brainstorming. It is all about analysis of resources, analysis of the business environment, and then deciding a course of action on the basis of that analysis and study. After features, let us discuss importance of planning. Planning provides direction. Planning gives us a blueprint of future activities, that what will be done and how it will be done. Planning provides a base for all other managerial activities. First we plan something, then we act accordingly. Organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, all the steps are actually based on how we plan them. Number 2, planning reduces the risk of uncertainty. For example, I am running a shop and I may be worried that there may be a outburst of fire. There may be a risk of fire in my shop. Then what I will do? I will write the fire station number. I will arrange for the fire extinguishers. I will get my shop and other things insured. So if the fire cracks, I will be in a position to fight with that and will be able to reduce the risk of fire, reduce the risk caused due to fire. Why it could be happened, why it could be possible? Because I have planned, I have thought that what may be the causes of risk, and I have acted accordingly. But remember, it does not mean that there will not be fire because I have planned. It reduces the risk of uncertainty, it does not remove them. Planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. When we plan something in advance, we give a scope for each and every activity. We divide the work accordingly on the basis of specialization, and we decide the reporting relationship also, that is called organizing. In this way, all the activities are assigned to someone on the basis of specialization, and there is no overlapping, means the duties are not repeated. Moreover, we are able to reduce the wasteful activities if we plan in advance. Planning facilitates decision making. Just now I told you that planning is all about choosing the best alternative among various available courses of actions. It is also called decision making. Choosing the best alternative is called decision making. So planning facilitates the decision making, and due to this reason only, planning is primarily the task of top level managers. Planning provides the standards for controlling also. If we want to see whether we have done the things according to plan or not, first of all we will have to make the plans. If we want to know that whether we are successful in achieving our targets or not, first of all we have to decide the targets. So planning provides that basis, that target. And finally, planning promotes innovative ideas. It is always about brainstorming. Planning promotes innovative ideas. It's a very, very lovely thing. I remember about Leonardo da Vinci. He was the first person who said that if an object is able to carry and fly with human beings, it must be essentially in a cylindrical shape. It was said by Leonardo da Vinci. It was all about a plan. It was all about a brain idea. Later on, Wright brothers thought over it, and actually they made a aeroplane. And we all know that all the aeroplanes in this world are essentially in cylindrical shape. So dear students, planning promotes innovative ideas. You can think anything, and remember, if you can think about anything, it is possible to be performed. Remember, I am repeating it. If you are able to plan, to think about anything, remember, it is always possible to perform it. Seemingly, it may seem to be impossible, but believe me, that is possible. If your brain is able to think about it, you are able to perform it. So after importance, let us have a discussion on limitations of planning. Planning has some limitations also. Limitation does not mean that it is having demerits. Limitations are not the disadvantages, because planning cannot have any disadvantage, but it is having some limitations. मीन्स यहाँ जाके प्लानिंग अपना काम करना बंद कर सकती है, यहाँ प्लानिंग वो रिजल्ट शायद न दे जो हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे. सो दीज आर द लिमिटेशंस ऑफ प्लान. नंबर 1, प्लानिंग लीड्स टू रिजिडिटी. हाउएवर, प्लानिंग प्रमोट्स क्रिएटिव आइडियाज. बट वंस you have done planning, you have finalized your plans, you have started doing accordingly, and at that stage if you want to change something suddenly due to environmental pressure, it will be very difficult to change them, because you have arranged the resources, collected the resources accordingly, you have decided the duties, you have done the staffing part accordingly, you have appointed your workforce, you have trained them accordingly, and suddenly if someone wants to change that, now you have to change the things, it will be very difficult and will be costly also. So planning leads to rigidity. However, planning promotes creative ideas. But once the plans are final and you have started working on it, and then someone wants that you have to change the plan, it will be really difficult. So planning leads to rigidity. It is a limitation. Planning may not work in a dynamic environment. If I take the example of fashion, or I take the example of electronic devices, they are having such a dynamic environment that you cannot have a rigid plan on that. The fashion changes so quickly. In the same way, the technological environment changes so quickly that you cannot have a long-term or rigid plan about them. So planning may fail in a dynamic environment which changes very fast. Planning reduces creativity. Just now, just few seconds before, we have discussed that planning promotes creativity, and now they are saying planning reduces creativity. Don't get confused. Till the plans have been finalized, till we are in the planning process only, planning phase only, planning promotes creativity. But once the plans have been finalized, we have started accordingly. Now you cannot receive or accept or welcome any new idea. In that way, planning reduces creativity. Because you have started working accordingly, you have done a lot of huge investments on your plans, and now if someone wants that you can have this creative idea, no, you will not simply welcome it. Planning involves huge cost. Yes, planning is all about making plans, and plans are always based on some research. Data collection and analysis is a costly affair. So data collection is a costly affair. Side by side, planning is primarily the work of top level managers, who are the highest paid workforce in our management process. Top level managers are paid at the most, and planning is the work of top level only. So planning involves huge cost due to two reasons. Because number one, it involves data analysis, data collection, which is a costly affair, and it is primarily done by top level managers, who are the highest paid workforce or work personnel. Planning does not guarantee success. Merely doing planning and thinking that things will be taking place according to my plans only will be a simply foolish things. We must be ready with always plan B and plan C also. We must always have some alternative plans at the time of planning. Later on we'll discuss this thing in the planning process. Planning is a time consuming process. Certainly it is, because data collection in itself is a very time consuming process. We have to collect the past data, we have to collect the competitors data and various other informations of the environment. Because without doing a complete analysis, if you do planning, it may lead to huge risk or losses. So planning is a time consuming process because a lot of analysis are done in it. So these are the limitations of planning, and dear students, I would like to tell you that it is one of the most important question in your board exam. Generally this question is asked in a direct format for 6 marks, 5 or 6 marks. You can see there are 6 points. So you should prepare this question for your board exam as well as for home exam. This question will be asked repeatedly. Limitations of planning. Let us move forward and we'll discuss the planning process now. How planning is done. Process of planning. How the planning is actually done. Actually, you all must have doing in your the planning in your day-to-day life also. Let it be a small decision of buying a t-shirt or shirt or a trouser or a dress for your farewell. For your farewell, buying a dress involves all the steps I am going to discuss in the plan. Or simply doing arrangements for a birthday party in your house, or going to movie with your friends. All these things are the simple targets, simple goals which involve the complete planning process, and you can match them with all the steps of planning. So first is setting up the objectives like for what I'm going to plan, what will be my outcome after the plan. Number 2, developing the planning premises. Very first, setting up the objectives, why planning is being done, and second is developing premises. Dear students, this second point is generally asked for 1 or 3 marks. Generally it is asked for 3 marks in your board exam, that what is the meaning of developing premises. I would like to tell about this. This is very important point, so please make a note of it. Developing premises means scanning of the business environment, that what will be the impact of my plan on the various components or dimensions of the business environment, and how it will respond. If I make a plan, what will be the impact of that plan on my business environment and how it will respond. So assuming about all the changes of business environment due to my plan is called developing premises. It will be of 2 types, internal premises and external premises. External premises actually includes economic environment, social environment, technological environment, political environment and legal environment, which we have already discussed in business environment. We are going in a very nice sequence. The chapter is already taught to you, business environment. Why it was taught? Because it will be required in the managerial process also. So developing premises means scanning of the business environment as how it will respond to my plans. For example, I am going to launch a new product. As soon as I launch the new product, my competitors will rise. There will be an effect of introducing that product in the market on my competitors in the market as well. So how the competitors will launch a new product, that will give a tough competition to my product, and I will have to be prepared for that competition. So this is called developing the premises. It is of 2 types, internal premises and external. External premises includes all the external factors of environment such as economic, social, legal, technological and political environment, while internal premises is micro. It includes the workers, the managers, the owners and board of directors, etc. Next is identification of alternative courses of action. At this step, what we do is we actually think that in what manners the target can be achieved. We decide about all the courses of action, that how much various courses of actions are available with me to achieve some goal or target. It is not about thinking about only one process only, or one manner only, one method only. Actually we think about various things. For example, you are planning to buy a shirt, so you think over all the options, like I have to buy a formal shirt or a casual shirt, I have to buy a branded shirt or a non-branded shirt, I have to buy it online or offline, my trousers are there at my home, will it match with that or not? So we think about many things, a lot of things. Then next step is evaluating alternative courses. Then we check about positive and negative points of each course of action. We evaluate each course of action, that what are the pros and cons. When we think that this particular course of action is having more positive points and less negative points, we select that alternative. That will be our course of action for future as plan A. Then we implement the plan, and after implementation we follow up the action, whether the plan has worked according to my thinking, my targets or not. Dear students, all the steps of management process are actually, they are into each step. Means you will find planning in planning, you will find planning in organizing, you will find planning in staffing, in directing, in controlling as well. In the same manner, you will find controlling in planning, You will find controlling in organizing, staffing, directing, and in controlling itself. So when we talk about this last option, follow-up action, this follow-up action is taking feedback, and taking feedback is actually controlling process. Controlling means to compare the actual performance with the targeted performance. So here at 6th, 7th step, what we do is we see whether the things have taken place according to my plan or not. So this is the entire process of planning. Whenever the question comes, you must always explain all the steps of planning process with suitable examples in your exam. Then only you will get full marks. Final topic of this chapter is types of plans. You should understand that there are two types of plans: standing plans and one-time plan. Standing plans are those plans which can be applied for a long period for different accounting years once they are made. Means repeatedly without any change they can be applied for a long period. So standing plan include very important plan, it is objective. I would like to recommend that you should make notes, because I will be telling you the keywords of each plan. A lot of case studies are asked based on this topic, that is types of plans. So you should write the key points for all the types of plans. It will help you to solve the case studies. So very first is objectives. See, objectives are the end points. Underline end points. Objectives are the end points towards achievement of which all organizational activities are performed. Be very clear, objectives means these are the end points. For example, Indian team is going to participate in World Cup. So what will be the objective? To win the World Cup. These are the end points, last goals, final goals. Now whatever we do, the Indian team is doing its journey, they are doing net practice, they are doing their reservations, their coaches are coaching them, the batsman is doing batting, bowler is doing bowling, fielder is doing fielding. Whatever people are doing there, they all are doing it to achieve the final objectives. So they are the end points. After performing all the activities in the organization, what we finally assume to achieve is called objectives. Objectives should be short. They should not be in a very descriptive form. They should be short. As far as possible, objectives should be in numerical form. As far as possible, objectives should be practically achievable. They should be based on our past experiences and past performances, and also according to the competitors' objectives. After objectives, strategy. Actually this term has been taken from army. Strategy are actually the counter plans, the plans which we make according to the our competitors' plan, our enemy's plan. So to counter that enemy's plan, when we make a plan, it is called strategy. But in business management, strategy are called long-term comprehensive plan, which are made to achieve the objectives. Once again I am repeating, strategies are the long-term comprehensive plans which are made to achieve the long-term objectives. So they are long-term comprehensive plan. They also include allocation of resources, how the objectives will be achieved. So allocation of resources, long-term comprehensive plan are the keywords to identify the strategies. And also you can write a key point, competitive advantage. Whenever we want to take some competitive advantage and we are making a plan for it, it will be called strategy. Competitive advantage, long-term comprehensive plan, and allocation of resources, and they are made to achieve the objectives. Third very important plan is policy. Policies are the, write down the key point, policies are the general guidelines. Objectives key point is end point. Strategy, key point is long-term comprehensive plan and competitive advantage. For policy, the key point is general guidelines. So the policies are the general guidelines which help in decision making in a particular situation. For example, there may be different type of policies like recruitment policy. We can have the recruitment policy that we do not recruit people or children under 14, below 14, because it is the government guideline. So whenever a person comes to ask for a job in my firm, I will ask that what is your age, and he says I am 14 years old. I will say no, we don't recruit the people of under 14 years of age. For example, there may be sales policy. I can write on my counter that 100% cash sales only. Someone comes, sir, I will make the payment later. Can I have the credits purchases in your firm? I will say no, it is not our policy to sell things on credit. We are having a policy of 100% cash sales only. So policies are the general guidelines, general statements which help in decision making in a particular situation. There may be various examples. It may be economic policy, trade policy, or recruitment policy, selection policy. So there may be different type of examples of the policies. Policies are the general guidelines. Methods are the plans, standing plans, which tell how the things will be performed. We have already studied about the method study performed by F.W. Taylor in the second unit, that is Principles of Management, which tells how, in what manner a particular task will be performed. Do you know what is the difference between task and a job? A job is assigned by the authorities, and also it is told that how, in what manner it will be done. But a task entirely depends on the performer, on the subordinate, in what manner he wants to perform it. So it is the basic difference between job and a task. So method means it also tells how a task is to be completed. Taylor very strongly recommended that there should be method study and there should be a standard method of doing all the tasks. Then we come to procedure. For procedure, dear students, the key point is sequence of activities. Sequence of activities means in what order the things will be performed. Procedure is that plan which tells about the sequence of activities. For example, there may be selection procedure, there may be loan procedure, there may be admission procedure, and in class 11th you have already studied two procedures: import procedure, export procedure. Okay, so procedure means sequence of activities. Then we come to a very, very important standing plan which is generally asked in your board exam. It is rule. Dear students, rule is a plan which tells what to do and also tells what not to do. So whenever you find that there is in question what not form is there, no form is there, you can easily identify that the case study is talking about plan called rule. Generally you will find all the rules are, not all, most of the rules are in negative form. For example, do not use mobile phone while driving, do not spit here and there, do not talk in the dining area. So rule are the plans which tell what to do and also tell what not to do. This is first point of identifying the rule as a plan. Second point is there is always a provision of penalty for not following the rules. There must be some provision of penalty and punishment if someone is not following the rule. So rule is a plan which helps in maintaining discipline in the organization. Once again, I would like to remind that all these are the standing plans, means once they are made, they can be used for indefinite period without any problem. Repeatedly they can be used. And now we are going to discuss about two single use plans. Single use plans, first very important single use plan is program, and second very important single use plan is budget. You can easily imagine that a budget can be used once only. For every accounting year we need to prepare separate budget. Once a budget is used, it cannot be used again in the same form for the next year. We will have to change it. So what is a budget? What are the key points? A numerically expressed plan is called budget. These are the key points. A numerically expressed plan is called budget. So budget generally has two things, revenue and expenditures. All the budgets are generally prepared from where the funds will come and where it will be utilized. So all the budgets are prepared in this form. Budgets may be of different types: annual budget, monthly budget, departmental budget, family budget, cash budget. So budgets may be of different types. Now I am going to a very interesting thing. What is a program? Dear students, you will be very happy, you will find it very interesting to know that program is a comprehensive single use plan, which includes all other plans. Program is a comprehensive single use plan which includes objectives, strategy, policy, method, procedure, rules and budget itself. So program is a very comprehensive single use plan. You don't know about business plans, business programs, but you know about your annual day program. So I will take the example of annual day program only. Your annual day program is having some objectives, what we want to achieve, with what target we are going to celebrate the annual day. Generally I have seen that annual day programs are theme based nowadays, so that theme can be called as objective. Number 2, strategy. How that objective of making the annual day program successful, a detailed plan, a detailed program we make, and that is called strategy. And we also try to see that our annual day program is better than other schools annual day program. In that way it is a strategy also, and we also do allocation of resources in it. Third is policy. Policies are the general guidelines. For example, I have seen in many schools that they say that it is not our policy to use the movie songs in annual day program. So this is their policy. Or they may say that we will not use recorded program, all the programs will be live in our annual day. So this is their own policy. Okay, then method, how to perform. A month-long preparation takes to prepare the annual day, method only. They keep on practicing that how the things will be performed. Then we come to procedure. Procedure means sequencing. We all know that annual day programs are having sequence of all the items. Sequencing is there. Rules. Annual day program also has some rules. For example, the students are supposed to come in school uniform only. Only parents are allowed to come and see the annual day program. If someone brings the mobile, it will be confiscated and penalty will be imposed on him. So these are the rules in our annual day programs. And finally, we all know it is a costly affair. It has some budgets also. Those budgets are approved by the authorities. A lot of expenditure takes place in annual day program. So annual day program is a comprehensive single use plan. This year's annual day program cannot be applied next year. In that way, it is a single use plan. I hope you find it useful. Thank you very much. Keep on practicing. Stay safe. Stay inside. Thank you. God bless you.